The Covidian Cult is an article written by American playwright C.J. Hopkins, published in October 2020.
Hey there, this is a video that was sent to me who lives in my area. This is Pack and Save Silverdale.
I'm just on my daily walk, mate.
Hopkins argues that we are in the midst of a global totalitarian movement, the first of its kind in human history.
This happened this morning, Saturday, the 4th of September, around about 10 a.m.
Yeah? Could you keep your distance, please?
And that the Covidian cult is made up of those of us who have drunk the Kool-Aid of the official COVID narrative.
He sent me this video. Watch the way this particular police officer just behaves and gets a little bit way too out of line, in my opinion.
Thank you.
You're required to give us details, so can you
I'm required to give you details.
Yeah, you are.
A narrative that goes something like this. The World Health Organization and global governments are working tirelessly to bring an end to the greatest plague in human history. Lockdowns, regular closures of local businesses, and medical mandates like social distancing, masks, and limits on movement.
For just a citizen simply understanding their rights and standing up to the sort of the bully tactics, almost the terrorism that is being implored by the New Zealand police.
Under what? Under the COVID laws,
Under the Health Act.
I'm walking to grab my girlfriend.
Are effective tools for preventing overflowing hospitals and epic death. Our only hope of eradicating the deadly virus are the new and safe vaccines and the speed by which we inject them. Anyone who questions this narrative is a COVID-denying conspiracy theorist who threatens our chance of winning this war.
On the government. So check this out, man. Unbelievable to me. So let me just turn it up a little bit so you can hear it real good, y'all.
Which is not an essential thing to be doing, so you can give me your details, please.
I'm walking to grab my girlfriend from the supermarket, and then I just heard someone scream.
Members of the Covidian cult trust their appointed health experts and trust the mainstream media. If you're anything like me, however, you're worried that the real global threat are these brainwashed bozos. A cult used to be a small band of weirdos hiding on a commune away from the prying eyes and interference of family members.
And I've taken a photo because you're breaching. Okay?
So please have, could I have your badge number?
Yep, IPCU-77.
So I wandered over.
You need to supply us with your details.
But as Hopkins argues, in the age of COVID, this paradigm has been flipped on its head.
Can you say that again?
No, you can abide by the rules, okay? It's printed here.
I can't see it.
Well, that's your problem. Okay?
Could you show me?
Yeah, right here.
Under the COVID laws, I need to give you my details.
Yes, you do.
For walking over because I heard someone scream.
We'll leave you on your merry way.
The dominant culture is now the Covidians, and non-believers like me are the minority, tiny islands on a crazy planet.
Right, where's that?
Why don't you get out the car instead of being an egg?
Stop being
Where's the print?
Okay.
At this stage, mate, I'm warning you for obstruction, okay?
Hopkins says that the key ingredient of totalitarian societies and cults is mass conformity to a psychotic official narrative. This psychotic official narrative is based on paranoia and is not bound by logic or reason.
Get out of the car and I'll show you.
No, I'm just wondering what you're
just wondering why you're breaching?
No, I'm allowed to know
baby, you can tell me why you both went in.
Obstruction, I've just stood there.
No,
keep my distance.
You're stopping us from doing our job and enforcing the COVID lockdown.
Cult is faithful to the narrative, and this faith cannot be shaken by facts. Our cult indoctrination began in early 2020 when bizarre videos leaked out of China. People were dying while walking, and little armies of hazmat-suited medics were seen scurrying around trying to keep up with the dropping dead. Isolation facilities, overcrowded hospitals.
I'm allowed to know your badge number.
Go into the supermarket together.
I'm allowed to know the badge number.
Yes, you can. Can you tell me why you both breached going into the,
We didn't go in together.
Yes, you did.
We went in different times.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you're required to give me your details.
Who was he screaming?
Undergoing any essential personal movement.
And drone footage of barren cities, we were told that a deadly virus had made the supernatural leap from a bat, not a dog or a bunny, a bat, into a human, and that this unscientific event occurred in a dreaded and overcrowded wet market in a place called Wuhan. The virus escaped on a modern plane and supposedly almost wiped out Italy before it was declared a global pandemic by our new guardian of health, the WHO.
Came out and got in the same car, so can you explain that to me?
I just want your badge number so I can go.
Yeah? You tell me why you breached first and I'll give you the badge number.
I'll go. You have to tell me.
I'm going for my legal daily walk to pick my girlfriend up because she's just finished being an essential service worker and I don't want her walking home at 10 p.m.
About you giving us your details, so please give us your first name, last name, date of birth, address, information, and phone number.
The brainwashing campaign had kicked into high gear. For the first time in modern history, our businesses were shut down because of a virus. We were ordered to hide in our homes where our TVs, radios, and phones would terrify us with predictions of death in the millions, starting with the exaggerated models out of London by the infamously inaccurate Dr. Neil Ferguson.
Okay. I don't give a fuck whether you study law.
It can't be understated that this initial lockdown had a serious impact on our mental equilibrium going forward. You are non-essential, give up your livelihood, hide in your home, and await our instructions.
Okay? You abide by the law instead of trying to turn it around that it's our issue. You're the one that fucking breached.
Wash your hands like someone with OCD. Since the initial lockdown, our minds and bodies have been under months of stress. It is the greatest psyop in human history.
Yeah. Fuck off.
We've been bombarded by 24/7 propaganda. Freezer trucks, mass graves, emergency field hospitals, and the slogan, protect our frontline workers, had to be reconciled with a bizarre epidemic of hospital nurses performing choreographed dance numbers in these overflowing hospitals. A phenomenon that continues to this day. Next came social distancing, a fundamental tenet of the COVID narrative.
Businesses that run non-clinical services and who have workplaces or workforces that need to be out and about. So, for example, people who can't work from home. Designing this pilot in conjunction with industry.
It was based not on viral science, but on a form of childlike logic. The planned payoff, the unconscious fear of everything and everyone.
So we'll work through exactly how it'll take shape together.
No matter how healthy they look, they could be a ticking time bomb.
This is the first time the administration has committed to purchasing households.
Limits on gatherings was a cult mind control staple called milieu control, a technique to limit the cult members' contact with the outside world and prevent contradictory discussions.
Is that ASPR or is that DOD?
These limit numbers on weddings, funerals, playgrounds, and restaurants have been continuously randomly changed since the beginning by design.
We're meeting with a group of Rob Fife, Adrian Littlewood.
Because of all the notifications of contracts signed, I've seen them from DOD, I haven't seen them from HHS.
It's the constant flip-flopping of rules that is deceptively innocent but hugely effective. Cult leaders often ask their followers to denounce previous rules in place of new ones.
Some other business representatives, including primary industries and other mostly multinational companies.
It creates cognitive chaos. The point of the narrative is not that it makes sense. The point of the narrative is that you unquestionably have faith in it.
Many of whom have.
We have a relationship with DOD for assisted acquisitions.
By attacking the mind with a constant stream of never-ending facts, the ability to use logic and reason is further shut down.
Can you guarantee that every business who has had its tests requisitioned, can you guarantee that those businesses will get the tests they ordered?
Thomas, no one's test has been requisitioned.
A campaign of endless slogans and phrases, including wartime-loaded language, has been pumped into the zeitgeist to guide our opinions and fill any cracks in the narrative.
And is this a new, previously not seen variant?
From the manipulative use of guilt to absurd scientific studies, including these more recent headlines.
So no, they're absolutely linked to all the cases.
We have been bombarded by endless conflicting directives, wild speculation, and outright lies.
are clearly linked genomically. We've had a very high success rate or ESR has, in sequencing the genomes. So these ones are clearly linked to the outbreak.
The end result is that science and facts no longer matter, not to the Covidian cult. The pandemic should be over based on the CDC and WHO's own documents.
The important point here is usually if there's a change or a mutation, it's at one point between one individual to another.
2020's death numbers describe a year on par with previous norms.
So one SNP. Both these two cases who are in the same household.
But the COVID narrative is a psychotic official narrative. It is a matter of faith, not facts.
Have two different mutations, so two SNPs.
The danger is a not-so-distant future with two types of people.
So that suggests that it can happen, really.
The vaccinated and the unvaccinated.
Really, but it suggests there could be an intermediate case in between these two and someone else in the outbreak.
If we are not members of the Covidian cult but dutifully blend in by following the rules.
So what the testing is designed to do is see if we can find whether there may be someone out there who is that intermediate case.
If we do not open our businesses and remove our useless masks all at once.
Why weren't you immediately setting up community-based surveillance testing given the high numbers of mystery cases?
Then the Covidian cult will drive our car off a cliff, and unfortunately, we will have paid for the gas.
Fucking shit.